Okay guys, since I started Jiu-Jitsu, I always tried to figure like a very good way to pass the guard. Because I have learned a bunch of like different ways to pass the guard, but I always had like a hard time to pick which one I would use it. And then back in like 2002 when I was like the yellow belt, something like that, I started doing one way that I felt like really safe on this way. And I felt I could have like a very good control, and I could even like rest on that position. And on that position I felt that it would be like the best way for me to pass the guard, but I was completely with the control of my opponent. So basically, to set up this position, this is the one that everyone calls like over-under pass. So basically, to set up this position, what you have to do is we have to make sure that we cover one of his feet with my hip. So I have to place my hip over one of his foot, just like that. Then I'm going to put one hand under his leg, and I'm going to place my armpit over his leg right here. Right? Look, my left hand, I'm going to control anywhere here around his hip. Right? And my right hand, I'm going to make sure, my right arm, I'm going to make sure to close my armpit over his leg. Right? Look guys, once I got here, it's going to be really hard for my opponent to move. Look, he's going to try to move, and he really can't move just because I closed my armpit over his leg and I control around his hip right here. Right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to make the position get worse to my opponent. So I'm going to stay on toes and place my shoulder over his belly here, keeping this pressure with my armpit on his leg. He's going to try to move. Look, he can't move. It's everything stuck here. Right? Now I'm going to control his pants with my right hand, and I'm going to stretch his leg down. Once I stretch his leg down, I'm going to make sure to walk towards the same line of my opponent. So I'm going to walk towards this line here. Why? I want to make sure my opponent can't shrink. I want to make sure that my opponent can't hip escape. So from here, he can't hip escape, right? But if I'm from here, for example, look, he can't hip escape. Look, and also if he hip escape, I start losing the position. So look guys, I was here. I'm going to place my shoulder on his belly, I'm going to stretch his leg down, and I'm going to drive towards the same line of my opponent. Once I did that, he can't hip escape. Look, he's going to try to hip escape, he can't. So always follow the line. Look, he's going to try to move, and I'm going to follow the line, follow the line. Now, I'm just going to jump his leg, close my knee under his leg, make a good pressure against his chest, and little by little, establish the best way you want to get the side control. Okay guys, today we're gonna show here all my favorite passings. And since I was yellow belt back in 2002, I always tried to figure like what would be the best way for me to pass the guard. Because we learn a bunch of ways, but not always all ways works for us. And I believe that if you don't focus like a lot in one way, we're never gonna be like perfect as we wanna be passing. So since back like 2002, I always focused my passing on one type of passing that's called the over-under pass. And to get this over-under pass, let's start seeing here first just how to get there and how to pass from the over-under. So what you're gonna do is, I'm fighting against my opponent here. I have to make sure to cover one of his feet with my hip. So look, I'm here. I'm gonna cover with my feet, with my hip, one of his feet. Once I did that, I'm gonna grab under his leg with one arm, and my other arm, I'm gonna place my armpit here over his leg. Now I'm going to control anywhere around his hip. So it can be his belt, his pants. I'm going to control his gi right here. Right? Guys, once I got here, I have a very good control of my opponent. Look, if he tries to move, he can't move at all. Just because I stuck one of his legs and I'm controlling his hip. Right? So once I got here, I can even kind of like rest here because he's stuck. And little by little, I'm gonna start adjusting my position. So to adjust my position, make it worse for him, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna stay on toes, and I'm gonna control his pants with my right hand. Once I control his pants, I'm gonna stretch his leg down. Right? Now that I stretch his leg down, I'm gonna try to control under his leg, and I'm gonna make sure to make a lot of pressure with my shoulder on his diaphragm here, just to make it uncomfortable for him. Guys, now I'm gonna walk towards his legs here, just like this. Once I walk towards his legs, I'm gonna keep his body stretched, so he can't escape. Look, he can't shrink. Even if he tries to walk to come back to where he was, I'm gonna follow him. Look, right? Now all I have to do is to jump his leg, put my knee under his leg, and little by little go over, and establish the best side control you can. Right? Guys, a very important thing here is, look, once I got the over-under, I have to make sure that I stretch his leg and go to the same line of him. If he's like this, for example, look, a little sideways. If he's like this, a little sideways, he can hip escape and I'm gonna lose the position, look. So I have to make sure that I stay in the same line of him, look. Now if he tries to hip escape, he's gonna have a really hard time because his hip is stuck. So I'm gonna jump, pass, and establish the side control. Right, so let's see one more time on this angle here. I'm the over-under, right? So look, I was standing, gonna cover his foot, get the over-under. Stay on toes, stretch his leg down, drive towards the middle, jump his leg, and pass. One of the most important things here is to know how to arrive in the over-under pass from every type of situations, right? So what's very common, for example, I'm going to start the fight standing and I know that my opponent's going to pull guard. So how do I going to get the over-under like before he start his game, before he start his sweep? So I have to figure out a way that as soon as he pull the guard, I have my passing. So it's not going to be like he's going to pull his guard and he's going to have his sweep. No, I want to have my passing first. So what we're going to do is, we're going to start standing here. I'm going to try to stay very low. Look, if I stay like this, he can pull guard and it's hard for me, right? So I'm going to try to stay very low. As soon as he pull guard, I'm going to put my both hands on the mat. Look. So he didn't get set up like really like a guard here, right? Now I'm just going to go over his leg. Look, I did. Once I got over his leg here, I'm going to switch this arm to his leg, but make sure that his foot is under your leg. If not, you can go to the triangle. So I'm going to place my armpit over his leg. I'm going to stay on toes, place my shoulder on his diaphragm again, and I'm going to do the same principle that we have always to do. I'm going to stretch his leg down, drive towards the mirror, stay as heavy as possible, don't let him hip escape, and now just jump his leg and pass the guard. So let's see again. He's going to try to pull guard. He's going to put both hands on the mat, so there's no guard. Now I'm just going to jump his leg, switch this arm outside, control his leg. Once I have the control of his leg, I'm going to control his hip as well. Stretch his leg down, drive towards the middle. He can't hip escape. Now I'm just going to jump his leg and pass the guard. Guys, every time you get here, before you make any type of control, make sure to stop him for 3 seconds. So I'm not even going to try to hold his hand. First, I'm just going to try to stop here 3 seconds, look. And now, little by little, I get there. I want to make sure that I score the points first. And then, I do any type of control. So guys, let's imagine right now I'm rolling with my partner and we're gonna start a roll on the knees. I know that if we're gonna compete at some tournament, it's gonna start standing, but I know as well that most of the jiu-jitsu schools, this sparring starts on the knees. Because many times the mat is crowded, this and that, so most of the times we start on the knees. So we really have to figure out a way from the knees to get the over-under pass, right? Because you have to practice this on the school at some point to be able to practice this on the tournament as well. So if you don't have a way to practice this every day, how are you gonna do that in the tournament? So the way I found to do that is basically the same way that you're gonna use when you're standing. So we're gonna get a reflex to use that in the tournament as well. So what you're gonna do is I'm fighting against my opener. Let's imagine he's gonna pull guard. Guys, as soon as he pull guard, I put my both hands on the mat, right? So I'm not gonna stay here, wait him pull guard, set up his guard, and then try to pass. So I want to make the first move. He's pulling guard, but I'm gonna anticipate him. Look, he's gonna pull both hands on the mat. Once I put the both hands on the mat, I'm gonna jump his leg. Guys, every time you jump his leg here, make sure to press your both legs. I don't want to keep his leg free here. Maybe he goes some triangle when I try to step to move my hand over. So I step over his leg and press my both legs, right? So now his foot is stuck. Once I did that, switch arm, armpit over his leg. Now I'm going to control his hip with my left hand, right? Once again, stay on toes. Stretch his leg down, drive towards the middle. You can control his pants or you can hold under his leg. And now, just jump and pass. Always remember, the first 3 seconds, don't change grip so much. Just establish the position. Look, I'm going to even kind of like control his belt here and use my head. 1, 2, 3. Now, little by little, control his head. So let's see again. I'm fighting with Bruno. Let's see on this angle. He's going to try to pull guard, both hands on the mat. Once I put both hands on the mat, right after, step over his leg and press our both legs here. Now, I'm going to switch his arm, hold his leg. So, left hand control his hip. Look, just switch. Left hand control his hip. Right hand goes to his leg. Stretch his leg down. Hold under his leg. Or control his pants. It's up to you. Drive towards the mirror. Also, we just saw that. If I keep his body aligned, he can recover. He can escape. So he can recover. Jump his leg. Close the knee under. Establish for 3 seconds. And then little by little, get the side control. One more time. He's going to pull guard. Jump over his leg. Guys, since 2009, I have started working on submission from the over-under. And I really like the submission because it's something that I have nothing to lose. So for example, I start doing the over-under, I can try the submission, and if the submission works, great, I got a submission. If it doesn't work, I'm still going to pass the guard, I'm still doing the over-under. So this submission I learned back in 2009 from one of my teachers, Fabio Gurgel, and I have been working on this a lot. And since like 1 or 2 years ago, I really got to adjust it really well because I have been training a lot of no-gi. So in the no-gi, it's much harder to do that because it's slippery. So now once I have the gi, I feel much easier. I think in my last 15 matches, for example, putting together the Pan Ams and the Worlds, 7 of them I got this submission. So let's see that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start in the over-under pass, right? So we have been seeing here how to do the over-under, so we're gonna start from here. Now what you're gonna do, I'm gonna stay on toes here, as we were always doing. Now I'm going to stretch his leg down and hold under his leg, right? So instead of just control his pants, I'm going to really hold under his leg. Now I'm going to walk towards the mirror here. Let's just change the angle here, like that. Now I'm going to walk towards the mirror here, right? Guys, once I got in the mirror here, I'm going to cross like a semi-triangle. It's not like a triangle like this, a semi-triangle, just like that. And now I'm going to start going low, going low, going low, and I'm going to push his knee here, right? Guys, basically what I'm doing here is I'm creating a space between his knee and the mat, and I'm pushing his knee down, right? So it's the same thing, like I put his leg here and I push his knee here. So it's gonna hurt and he's gonna tap. So look, I have his leg, I'm holding under his leg to make sure I really get to put his leg aligned, right? I really want to have his leg aligned. I'm gonna close a semi-triangle and I'm gonna tap his knee. Guys, the hardest part of this position is to find his knee with my hip. So for example, if I close the triangle completely here, now look, my hip is over his knee. I'm pushing and he's not going to tap because I'm not over his knee. If for example I go very low, I'm going to miss his leg. Look, his foot is going to touch the mat. So I have to have the feeling of finding his knee with my hip. Right? Guys, during the training, I do exactly as I just showed. I just get here, I touch my knee on the mat, and I go slowly until my opponent taps. But when you talk about tournament, we cannot go that slow because my opponent's going to start moving, and I'm going to lose the position. So when it's a tournament, what I do is I'm going to lift my hip up here. And now in just one time, I'm going to land all my body over his knee. So I'm going to do like this, look. So it really hurt. So that's why I only do in the tournaments. So I'm going to lift my hip, and in just one time, I'm going to land. And I'm going to get a submission. Right? So let's see again. So look, I'm here. I got the over-under pass. Got hip up, stretch his leg down, hold under his leg, move towards the mirror, close like a semi-triangle, and now look, if we're doing that on the training, put our both knees on the mat and just squeeze little by little. If it's like a tournament, you cannot miss the chance. Put our hip up and now just land in just one time, like that, look, and get the submission. Right? So one more time in different angle here. So I'm here, gonna get the over under, gonna drive to the mirror, semi-triangle, both knees on the mat, push. If it's like a tournament, I'm gonna land my hip on his knee. And I'm gonna get a submission. Guys, now let's imagine here I'm fighting against my opponent. I consider that a mistake. I did a mistake and he got to adjust his position, right? So look, I'm here, he got to control my buff sleeves and place his buff feet right here around my hip, right? So guys, how do I gonna do to the over-under from here? Look, how do I gonna place like one arm in, one arm out from here? It's gonna be a hard time, right? So guys, but there is a way. There is a position right here that's almost the same thing of the over-under, but a little different. A different control, but the same goal. So what I'm gonna do right here is, I'm fighting against him. First thing, I don't want to be far from him. So if I stay here, it's worse for me. And it's closer for him to do like omoplata, triangle, lasso. So as soon as he get here, I want to close the distance. Guys, the best way to close the distance is, I'm gonna control inside his pants, right? So look, if you guys can see right here, I'm gonna place my hand inside his pants. Look, I put my forefingers right here, inside. On both sides, right? Just to close the distance. I did. So I'm really close right now. Guys, once I do that, he can't move his legs. So he's gonna try to move, he can. But guys, if I stay here as well, I'm stalling. I'm not moving at all. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna keep one of these two sides his grip. So I'm gonna pick my left side. My left side, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna make sure to really adjust like my biceps against his shin, right? So look guys, when I put my biceps here, look, this part against his shin, very close to his foot, he can't move that leg anymore. He's gonna try to move it, he can't. If it's high, he can move, look, and he can get omoplata and this and that. So you really have to make sure to put this part here, like this part, right here, right? Little bit over his foot. So, I'm gonna place this part there, look. Make sure to control the pants inside, 4 fingers in, close it, right? Now, I have the other side here, guys. You can still move in this leg, so I'm gonna make sure to close this elbow. Keep this elbow closed. And now, once again, I'm gonna stay on toes. Imagine that I'm doing the over-under to the same side. So I'm gonna stay on toes and come up. Guys, pay attention on his left foot, this foot here. Look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep my elbow closed, and I'm gonna jump his leg only using my hip. And I'm gonna use my hip here to cover his foot, right? Guys, once his foot is covered, I'm gonna make sure to open my arm again and place my armpit over his leg. Guys, this is almost the same thing of the over-under, but the difference is my left arm, if you guys see right here, my left arm is not under, it's over as well. It would be like an over-over. I call this position like over-under brother, right? So look, I'm here, I'm gonna do the same thing we were doing the over-under. I'm gonna stay on toes, stretch my leg down, drive towards the middle, jump, and pass. And get inside control, right? So let's see again. So look, let's put in this angle here. He's gonna put his both feet on my hip. I'm gonna control inside his pants, and I'm gonna close the distance. You can even control both pants first. Look, close the distance. Pick one side, you're gonna be my left side, and get it as tight as possible. Now, this foot here, I have to cover this foot. So I'm gonna keep my elbow closed. Gonna jump and place my hip over his foot. Look, my hip covers his foot. Now I'm gonna open my arm, stretch his leg down, drive towards the middle, jump, and pass. Right? One more time. Guys, only one more very important detail right here. Many times what happens is, I get here, my opponent control my sleeve, and then I'm stuck here. I can't free this arm, right? Guys, every time this happens, this is simple. If I keep my both knees on the mat, my arm is gonna be stuck. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change my base. Also changing my base, look what happened with his arm, with his leg. His leg moved down. So it's easy for me right now to just free my arm and establish. Right? So once again, if I got here, he has my sleeve, I have his pants, and my arm is stuck here, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna change my base, bring his leg towards me, and free. That's it. Guys, once again, let's imagine my opponent got my both sleeves and placed his both feet on my hip. This is why I didn't want this, but that happened. So once again, what I'm gonna do, first thing, close the distance, stay tight. Once I'm tight, he can move his legs, right? Now I'm gonna pretend that I just wanna do the over-under again. So I'm gonna, one side, I'm gonna get really tight, close to his foot. The other side, I'm just gonna step over his foot right here using my hip. So keep your elbow closed, stay on toes, place your hip over his foot. Also did that, I'm gonna open my arm again, set up the over-under. Guys, we saw before how to do the knee bar from the over-under, right? Guys, the knee bar from this situation that I call like over-under brother, is even much stronger than the other bar. Why? Now also stretch his leg down here, and I hold his leg underneath here. Because I have his leg pressed here, and I have his hip, I have a much better control of his hip. So also I have a much better control of his hip. He can't do the defense. That defense would be like turning on this way. But as I have the control of his leg and his hip together, it's gonna be really hard for him to turn. So also again, I'm gonna hold under his leg, gonna lift my hip up. If it's a training, I'm gonna go very slow. If it's a tournament, I'm gonna close like a semi-triangle, and I'm gonna land my body over his knee. So I'm gonna do like this, look. And I'm gonna get a submission. So look, because I have this grip here, four fingers on his pants, my biceps closed right here on his shin, and the control of his leg, he can't hip escape and he can't put his leg sideways. So I'm gonna close like a semi-triangle, and I'm gonna land with my body on his knee and get a submission. So this one I call like over-under brother, because it's not really like the over-under, right? I have over. So could be like over. And this is even tighter. I mean, like, I like buried over-under because it's some position that I arrived there, I found for that. This one right here, he started the situation, right? But end of the day, if I get here, this is gonna be more efficient than the over-under. So I'm gonna control under his leg, control his pants, close like a semi-triangle, and lift my hip, and land my hip over his knee, getting the submission. Guys, on this situation right here, let's imagine, for example, maybe I'm fighting against him, this and that, and I have the double under here, right? So I have the double under, but guys, once again, I don't want to pass using the double under. I want to pass using the over under, right? So what I'm gonna do right here is, even if my opponent has my sleeves, no problem, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick one of these two sides. I'm gonna pick my right side, and I'm gonna use my right shoulder to pin his leg down, right? Once I put his leg down here, I'm gonna stay on toes and I'm gonna jump his leg. Look, I did. Now that I jump his leg, I have to break this grip here. To break this grip, all I'm gonna do is just start putting weight with my shoulder on his belly and just pull my sleeve up here. Look, pull until I break it. Once I broke it, I'm gonna hold his leg, and I'm gonna do all the principles again to do the over-under. Stretch the leg down, hold it under, drive towards the middle, jump, and pass. So let's see again. I'm right here, double under, right? I want to step over his leg. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make any grip right here around his hip, push his leg down using my shoulder. Now I'm gonna stay on toes, jump it. Once I jump it, I'm gonna stay on toes again, place my shoulder against his leg and free this arm. I did. Now that I did that, I'm gonna hold his leg, drive towards the middle, jump, and pass. Right? So one more time. Pay attention how to break the grip, guys. All my weight is over his leg, so I'm just gonna pull up and he's gonna lose the grip. Look. Guys, now let's imagine I'm fighting against my opponent, and once again, I consider that a mistake. I don't like to give like any space or any chance to my opponent to set up any type of guard. So let's imagine I'm fighting against my opponent, and he's gonna set up the lasso, right? So look, he's setting up the lasso here, So guys, what I want to do is, first thing, when he makes the lasso, probably he's going to try to get my other sleeve here as well, the other side. And he has a bunch of attacks here, right? He can try to put like his shin right here, for example, and try to switch to the other side right there, right? He can just control right here and maybe put the foot on my biceps. So he has a bunch of options, right? So guys, what I'm going to try to do here is, my left hand, I'm going to place it on between his legs, right? So I'm just going to place my hand on the mat. So with my left hand, I'm going to place on between his legs, right? Now guys, I'm going to close my elbow here and I'm going to start walking towards the other side. So look, I'm here, I'm going to stay on toes, walk towards this side here. Guys, always with my elbow closed, right? So if you guys see my right elbow, it's closed here. Don't stay with your elbow open, because if not, look, you can go to the triangle, right? So make sure to stay with this elbow closed here. Once this elbow is closed, look, this foot doesn't pass under my armpit, right? So keep his elbow closed here. Once I'm here and I'm heavy over his leg, I'm just going to start opening my hand. Look, open, 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 until I break it. Now, I'm going to, once again, step over his foot using my hip. Once I did that, look where I am. Once again, I'm the over-under. Make sure to stretch his leg down. Hold under his leg. Get in the same line of him. If you want, you can try the knee bar. If not, just jump his leg and pass. Get in side control. So, let's see again. Let's change the angle here just to see the detail about the hand. So look guys, he makes the lasso and he has the lasso here. So first thing I'm going to try to do, this hand goes under his leg and hand on the mat. Right? Now I'm going to walk towards his lasso side. So look, I'm here, I'm going to walk back a little bit, stay on toes and come here. I'm going to close my elbow. Let's change that. I'm going to close my elbow and open my hand here. Once I open my hand, if you see, he's going to break his grip, look. So keep heavy, open, 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 break it. Now make sure to step over his foot. I did. Once I did that, I'm going to hold his leg using my armpit. I did. Now stretch his leg down, jump, and pass. Guys, once again, stop here and stay 3 seconds. I like to grab the belt because I feel like a very good control right here of his hip. And now little by little, establish the best side control you can. One more time. Here, hand on between his legs, close your elbow, stay on toes, open up, stretch his leg down, drive towards the zero, jump, and pass. Guys, now let's imagine I'm fighting against my opponent. I was kind of like in the double under here, but then he got to put his foot on my biceps, right? The other side. He got to put his foot on my biceps here, and he got to stretch his foot on my biceps, right? So guys, once he got here, I don't want to get stand up and completely like change my game here to pass the guard. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. So look, he's going to stretch his leg here on my arm. Guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to keep my arm bended like this. I'm going to stretch my arm a little bit. So I'm going to kind of try to move his foot a little bit over my forearm, not over my biceps. Right? So instead of staying here, I'm going to do like this, look, just to make it a little bit uncomfortable for him. I'm going to make sure to keep my right hand on his pants. Now look guys, I'm going to lift my leg and I'm going to bump his ankle on my knee. I have to make sure to bump his ankle. If I bump his chin, for example, it's not going to work. Look, his foot's going to still there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the right distance and just one time I'm going to do like this, look. No foot on the biceps anymore. Once I don't have the foot on the biceps anymore, I'm going to switch my hand inside and I'm going to jump his leg. Right? Once I jump his leg, there I am, I go. I'm in the same position, over and under. So I'm going to stay on toes, pressure with my shoulder his belly, stay in the same line of him, jump his leg, close, and pass the guard. right? So let's see again. Same angle. I have his pants. He's gonna put his foot on my biceps. I'm gonna lift my knee up and I'm gonna bump his foot on my knee. Guys, if I measure the wrong distance here, it's not gonna work, look. So it's really have to have the feeling of measuring the right distance. And now in just one time, I'm gonna stretch my arm a little bit to make him feel uncomfortable and bump. No foot on the biceps anymore. Once there's no foot on the biceps, I'm gonna switch my hand inside, push his leg down and jump it. Once I jump it, hold his leg, drive towards the mirror, jump, pass, and get side control. Let's see one more time in different angle. Keep that grip. Guys, once again, let's imagine I'm in this situation here. Look, so I have my hand on his pants. I have like a double under here, and he's gonna place his foot on my biceps, right? So once again, I'm stuck in this position. Guys, first thing, I want to avoid he keep controlling my hand between his legs, right? It's better keeping like under his hip with my right hand. So keep this hand here, don't move it. Now once again, I'm gonna measure the right. I'm gonna stretch my arm a little, just move his foot a little bit over my forearm, and I'm gonna bump his foot over my knee. So I'm gonna bump. Guys, now right after, instead of going to the over under, my arm is just gonna follow him. Look, follow, until I get the stack pass there, right? Once I got to the stack pass, I'm gonna stay on toes. Guys, it's the same principle. I just have to stay in the same line of him. If I start walking here, he can bring his knee kind of like under my forearm here, and then I can't pass his guard anymore. Look. So what I should do is, I got the stack pass, it's the same principle. Stay in the same line. Don't walk towards the side control. Right? So follow the same principle, and now just move our upper body. So instead of walking to side control, I'm just gonna move my upper body here, look. And move. Guys, think about it. I got his side control. If he can't post his feet on the mat, he can't recover the guard. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring his buff legs together. He's gonna try to recover, he can't because he can't post. If I let him post his feet on the mat, then he can start recovering, look. So also pass, if you have the chance to grab his buff legs, do it. And then he can recover the guard. So let's see again. Fight against Bruno. I have double under here. He's gonna put his foot on my biceps. I'm gonna lift my knee up and I'm gonna bump his foot against my knee. I took out. Once I took out, this hand is gonna go all the way down right there to his collar. Right? Once I got his hand there, don't stay on this. If I stay on this, I have no weight on top of him. So as soon as I got here, stretch our buff legs and kind of change our base here, look. Bringing his hip up. Right? Now, keep it heavy here. He's going to try to move. Just stay in the same line. Even if he gives you the side control, guys, don't walk to his side control. Stay here. Now to pass his guard, just move our upper body and pass. If you have the chance, hold his buff legs and don't let him put his feet on the mat. Now, little by little, adjust the best side control you can. So let's see again, the other angle. I'm gonna put his foot on my biceps. I'm gonna break his grip. Get there. Once I got there, I'm gonna stay on toes with my base changed. Really, really heavy, guys. As heavy as you can. Now, just move your upper body, pass, and bring his buff legs together to do not let him post on his feet on the mat.